It's time for me to send my Nikon ZR back to the rental company. If you haven't been following for the last week and a half, I've been trying to crank out as many videos as I can about this stuff because I only rented this camera for about 8 days, I think. And I have to say, I've absolutely loved the content I've been able to make with it. The Nikon ZR is an incredible camera that can produce a super nice image. It has a lot of big strengths to it. Like, this screen is amazing. The red Code Raw is lovely to work with. I really like the body design and the style. I would love to keep it and build a big cinema rig out of it like I love doing, but it's time to pack it up, take it down to UPS and ship it off. So it's actually been a little over a week since I recorded that clip and since I returned my Nikon ZR. If you don't know, I did rent it for about 9 days. I think it was about 9 days, and had plenty of experience with it. Probably not enough experience because it's hard to get to know a camera fully within 9 or 10 days. What I will say is I absolutely loved my time with the Nikon ZR, but I just don't feel like I'm actually going to follow through with purchasing one for myself just yet. I'm not saying never, I'm just saying not right now. So I want to just take a couple of minutes and talk about why that would be for me, but also for you. You may want to get the Nikon ZR, again, because it is a phenomenal camera. So ultimately there's probably about 3 main reasons, and firstly is just some quirks. Certain things about the camera that I didn't love. Now these aren't necessarily deal breakers, but they were just things that I didn't enjoy about the camera. And firstly is just exposure. I know a lot of people have talked about this, but getting exposure right on the Nikon ZR is just not great. It is difficult to nail, and especially with the way that I shoot, I do quite like doing things quickly. I work full time, plus I'm trying to do a lot for YouTube, so I usually don't have a whole lot of time to film what I'm trying to film. So for that sort of quick, snappy, trying to get things right the first time, it's not ideal. And that is ultimately down to user experience, right? I'm sure given a month or two with that camera, I could figure out just fine of how to use it for exposure, but it was one of those things that kind of bothered me as I used it, because the amount of times that I would pull the footage into my editor and I would look at it and it would usually be about 1 to 2 stops underexposed pretty consistently, and was just a little bit frustrating. That and the menus and stuff are fine. They're just a little bit, I find them a little convoluted to use. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I did find I just made a handful of kind of silly mistakes that I don't tend to make. For example, like stabilization gets kind of complicated as soon as you add manual focus lenses, or sort of non-electronic lenses. I know this happens in other cameras, but this one didn't even give me a warning or anything to say, hey, do you want to choose different stabilization settings that are going to match with your specific lens and stuff like that. Again, this is all down to user experience. This is not me saying that these are deal breakers by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just sharing my experience with you that I find just a little bit annoying. And the last one is just the file sizes. For me, the file sizes are not worth it for what it is that I'm doing. Again, that is specific to my needs, not specific to yours. And that's what I want to talk about next. And that is to say, what is it I actually need right now? I feel like everybody needs to be doing this, and no matter where you are or what it is that you're filming or shooting or whatever, is asking yourself, what do I actually need? And does what I have already meet that need in a way that means that I don't need to get anything else? And for me, the answer to that was yes. Everything that I have right now, I'm perfectly happy with. I'm very satisfied with the camera gear that I have, and it meets all of the needs that I have currently, which I do YouTube. It's about 80%, 90% of what I do is YouTube, and I do the odd job here and there of some mainly photography work, but I've got a couple of music videos and stuff coming up next year. But my needs are very simple. I really don't need a whole lot. For filming YouTube videos, you do not need a great camera. You don't need to be able to record in RAW. Most of what I do is here in a studio. I don't need all of that flexibility. That's not to say that it's not fun and nice to have, and I know that there's people out there that really enjoy doing that. Props to you, go ahead and do that. For me, I just don't need it, and I don't want to bother with the massive file sizes. So for me, that was just like the ultimate kind of decision maker. It was kind of looking at what I had, testing the Nikon ZR against what I had, and realized the upgrade for $2,200 is not worth it to me right now. Now, in saying that, at some point down the line, I might change my mind and I might say, actually, I need a cinema camera. Let's say next year I get more sort of client work and I realize, hey, I actually need a more serious camera. I need a better cinema camera. I need some RAW capabilities, all that kind of stuff. At that point, I can go ahead and rent and buy gear, but right now I just don't need it. So I figured I'd throw this in here because I feel like people don't do that enough of actually asking, do I need this, or is this like an impulse purchase? And that was actually where renting it really came in handy, because I was able to test it and figure out, is this something I need, or is this just something that I want? Now, buying something that you just want because you want it is also not a problem, provided you can afford it, which will bring me on to the next point, which is down to the real cost of the Nikon ZR. The Nikon ZR is really cheap for what it offers. Granted, $2,200 is a lot of money, right? It's not like pennies, it's a substantial amount of money, but for what they offer inside the camera, it is a fantastic deal. But a camera costs a lot more than a camera costs. Let me break that down for a second. The camera itself is $2,200, yes. For me, I have Sony cameras, so now I already own this, but if I didn't, I would have to go out and buy an adapter, which is $250 to use my lenses, or I would need to go and spend a couple of $1,000s to get lenses for the Nikon ZR, plus all of the accessories that I'd probably want to buy because I want to rig it up. You're talking a bare minimum of about $500 for that as well. Then let's just talk about storage. The Nikon ZR is a hungry camera. It chews through storage because the file sizes are really large, because they're very good. Again, please do not mishear me. It is a fantastic camera that can produce a fantastic image, so the file sizes reflect that. However, for me personally, I don't want to spend the hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, potentially thousands of dollars that I would need to be spending on storage for YouTube. And that's not to say that it's not worth it for other people, right? Going back to my second point, if you need the capabilities of RAW and you need a camera like the ZR and what the ZR offers, there's not another camera in the price point that offers what the ZR offers. So that means it's a fantastic camera for you. And if those are things that you need, then the expenditure of the extra storage and all that kind of stuff is going to be worth it to you. For me, it's just not. And that's fine, because everybody's camera needs are slightly different. What I choose to film and how I film and what it is that I do is going to be different from what you do. And I kind of want to just bring this into a last little section to say, buying a camera based off of one YouTuber's one video is a really bad idea. I'm not saying that YouTubers shouldn't be watched or they shouldn't be trusted. Of course they should, because I'm one of them. I'm going to want you to trust me and listen to me. In saying that, do your research, right? Our job as YouTubers is to get our hands on cameras in whatever way that we can, whether we get sent them, whether we buy them, or whether we rent them, which is what I did. And then we can make videos presenting what we find and how we feel about the camera and the image quality, and present all that information to you. Then your job is to figure out if it's right for you. Our job is not to make you buy it. That's your job. Your job is to figure out if it's the right camera for you or not. The ZR is an unbelievable camera and is going to be an amazing camera for a lot of people. And I don't like the fact that it's not for me. I want it to be for me, right? Because it is really, really cool. I just don't need to spend the money on it right now. Because like for me, life is changing pretty drastically in the next year. I've got a video coming out about that in the next couple of days. Pretty significant life changes that is going to be expensive. So, you know, for me, I'm having to just be cautious about money right now. That's fine, right? As far as I can tell, that seems to be the norm for most people these days. Money can be tight. So if you have a good camera, if you've got a camera setup that you're happy with and you don't need what the Nikon ZR offers, don't buy it. However, if you're in a situation where you are in desperate need of upgrading your camera gear, you're working with something quite a bit older and you need to upgrade, and everything the Nikon ZR offers is perfect for your needs, then absolutely go and buy it. It is an unbelievable camera. It just depends on your needs and whether you need it or not. But that's my rant for today. I don't know if this has been helpful or not, but I just figured that I would make it because I made a video a couple of weeks ago about the Lumix S9 versus the Nikon ZR, and I just kind of realized for me, I don't need a ZR. My S9 does everything that I need, and you can get them for $800, $900 on eBay. So for me, that just makes sense. So I'm going to make more content about that. And also, this channel has historically been about getting the most out of cheaper gear. specifically cameras like the, you know, ZV-E10. And I think I just need to, if I'm going to be talking about how to get really good quality out of cheap gear, I feel like I should be using cheap gear. So that's about that. So anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, or maybe even subscribe as we continue to build this channel. I appreciate all of you for doing so, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.